ChatGPT is trained in over 300 billion words and is now valued at over 170 billion US dollars. And what if I told you that with one simple prompt engineering technique, you could change your whole experience with ChatGPT? In fact, it can change your entire business. But why should you make your prompts perfect? Well, as with most things, output equals input. So if you want the perfect output, you need the perfect input. And right now, I guess you'll only use 40% of the power of ChatGPT just because you not yet know how to perfect your prompts. But no worries, I'll help you with that in this video. There are literally hundreds of thousands of different prompt engineering techniques, but now let's look at a 5-step process that will help you to make your prompts perfect for a game-changing ChatGPT experience for you and your business. So here's the 5 steps. So first is role, second is context, third is request, fourth is steps, and fifth is example. Role pretty much means that you want to give ChatGPT a role. So for example, you want him to act as a lawyer, or as an accountant, or as a real estate agent, or as a salesman. Whatever you want the output of your prompt to be, whatever you want ChatGPT to do for you. Let's say you're a software business and you have a new feature in your software, and thus you want to create a new chapter in your documentation about this new feature you have in your software. Then you could ChatGPT the role of you are a teacher or a consultant, and I want you to create this explanation for this new feature in my software form. How we do the rest of it, I will explain in a second. But first off, a role, the role that ChatGPT should play for you and the perspective it should take to answer your questions. You can as well put people in here. Answer like, you are Alex Hormozi, you are Jordan Belfort, you are Steve Jobs, help me with my product development. Whatever, this works as well. But give him a role so he knows how to answer. The second thing is context. Explain to him the situation you're in and why you want what you want it for. Let's say with the example of you want to create this new tutorial in your documentation for this new feature in your software, and you've told him you are a software consultant or you are a teacher, and I have this new feature in my software. I have a B2C software that helps people to create their own low-code web apps, and I have this new feature that now they can implement AI to their low-code web app. That's the context. And now the request, please make a tutorial for this. As simple as that. So give him a role, give him context what this is all about, then tell him what you actually want. This can only be a sentence, 2 sentences, doesn't need to be as long. Context, you should give him everything that you have around this subject. You can of course as well give him role and context first, saying you're a teacher, I have this, and I want this. What is everything that you need to know about this to answer my question in the best of your ability? And then he will give you a list of questions which you can then answer back to him so that he can respond to your request even better. Little hack on the side. So give him the request. Next is steps. So order the steps in which you want him to complete the task. Let's say with our example of the explanation for this new feature in our software. For example, first step, an overview of what this actually can do. Second, write why this is important for the users of the web app. Third, tell them where it is. Fourth, how they can use it. Fifth, what they need to bring to the table to make this work. Sixth, tell them about different options. And seventh, give me a few examples of how I can do this better. You get the idea. Step by step, how should ChatGPT complete this task? Within the LLM world, by now there's even this specific term for this, which is called reasoning. You may have seen this in ChatGPT. You have this little icon now you can click on to give him reasoning abilities, and this means that he goes step by step through answering the problem, and you can watch him do that. This is the same we accomplish by just telling him step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. And then last off is an example. This is pretty self-explaining. You just give him an example of how this could look like. For a different feature in your web app, how you structured the explanation there, you can put this in there. Now mind you, when ChatGPT first came out, you couldn't write as long of a prompt, and at some point he just wouldn't get it anymore and ignore everything you said. This still is the case, but this context window, which is what we call how much you can write in it, has gotten way longer. So don't make it too complicated. So do not panic if your message seems too long. He will get it. And if he doesn't, you still have the option to put this into different messages. So tell him first off, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want in the next few messages. Please remember each of them. And when I give you the go, start working on my request. And then you put each of these segments into a different message. It's not a trick there. Okay, so this is the 5-step process that you can go through to create the perfect prompt every single time. Of course, at some point you might not have steps that you can give him, you might not have a clear example. In these cases, you can leave them out. The more of these you have in, the better the output. And now I want to give you a few small extra tips that you can use in your prompts. So these go for in general prompts. In general, be specific with what you want. Pretty self-explaining. Of course, you can as well tell them which format you want the output to be in a table, for example, or in a whole text, or to give you a TLDR or something. As well, what you should do is avoid negatives as best as possible. There is something called a negative prompt that some AIs use, in which you can just type in what you do not want in the answer. But in general, to not confuse the model, they're better and better. And this might be outdated by now, but still, if instead of writing do not answer long to answer short, better. So don't give him too many negatives. You can as well give him constraints. So give this explanation of my local web app software feature in no more than 3 sentences or in no more than 170 words. Little disclaimer here, ChatGPT as of this day today has pretty much no idea what a sentence is or what a word is or what a character is. All you can do is give these constraints, and then he will hit around that. So if you say 3 sentences, he might only write 2, he might write 4, he might write 5, but it's unlikely he'll write 17. So it's just a goal that you can give him that he is aiming for. If he hits it, or if he just shoots off by a bit, this possibility is always there. As well, expect to give him feedback. The first thing he will put out might not be perfect, so hit on a few times until it actually sits perfect. Or as well, go into a dialogue, ask him, what do you still need to know to answer my request best? Have you understood everything? Repeat back to me what I just told you in your own words, and then you will see if he actually understood what you told him or if he needs anything else to understand. You can as well not only give him a role, but yourself as well. So you're the sales professional. Imagine me being a prospect for this local web app software. What arguments would you use in the sale to sell me? And then you have this sales script. So these are all minor things that you can do to give this little extra, this little cherry on top to make your prompts even better. So now you have a 5-step process to go through each time you prompt, and I tell you, each and every time you do this, this will get easier, and at some point you will do it automatically. At some point, as well, with the little tips that I gave you as well, you will use all of them, you will create your own technique in prompting, you will create your own style. This is, don't get me wrong, this is kind of an art, not to over exaggerate here, but it is kind of an art to create the prompts perfect, to get out what you want. Not everyone has this skill, but as the models evolve, things get better and prompting gets easier. Still, the better the input, the better the output. So try and use everything I told you in this video. And still, there's one more trick with ChatGPT specifically that you can use to 4x your productivity. I've done this myself, I've told this to many other people, and even though this feature is so obvious, I know no one who uses it. And everyone I told to use it was sheer flabbergasted by how awesome this feature is and how extreme the boost on productivity is. But what that is and how you use it, I've explained in this video right here, so you can go there and watch that now. We'll see us there, and until then, goodbye.